Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Fearsome Flowing podcast. I'm your host, Monique Renee. So today I want to talk about how can you know if a spiritual tool is best for you? So many of us are spiritually curious. We have a desire to dive deeper into spirituality and use these spiritual technologies that are out there that are so popular right now. But how do you know which tool is the best for you? And when do you know when it's the right time to pick it up and start using it? So today I'm going to cover that for you. We're going to talk about that. I'm also going to share a story with you on how I knew when tarot was the right tool for me and when I knew that it was the right time to pick it up and start learning it and using it. I'm also going to share with you my 4-step formula for embodying that tool and claiming it as one of the spiritual tools that you're going to use for your life, for your leadership, for all those special people in your life, if you want to support them in a new way. And then finally, of course, because you're here, I'm going to do a special 3-card reading, and you're going to get to claim that message for you when you listen to this podcast. All right, so let's get started. First thing, how do you know if the tool is right for you? Well, here is where you really need to lean in and trust your intuition, right? If we are floating through life just listening to other people's opinions, looking at all these different commercials and courses for different spiritual practices that you can be learning, if you're in a state of curiosity, it could be extremely overwhelming. Okay. So, my first tip is to really connect with your intuition so that you know when your body, your spirit tells you this is the right thing for me. Okay. Sometimes the only way that we can know if something is for us is because we spend enough time in silence, in meditation. Maybe it's a mindful walk, right? Many of us have those instances in our life where we know that when we hear something, we feel something, that is the right impulse. Okay. I certainly don't recommend scrolling through Instagram or Facebook and seeing what everyone else is doing, seeing all these courses that are being offered. There's so many. Okay, whether it's astrology or human design or tarot courses, etc. I would almost prefer that you kind of listen to the whispers of your soul during meditation, during your walks, in the shower, where something in you says, I'm curious about feng shui, right? Which was the case for me. I'm curious about tarot. It's really calling me, right? Or maybe you are in a quiet moment, right? In your day, looking through YouTube for something to inspire you, right? And if you see something that inspires you, then lean into it and then check in, right? Check in with your body. Sometimes it's good to get that impulse, leave it for a few days, wait till it shows up again, okay? Write down how you feel about it, and then you can lean into that tool, right? So, intuition is one of the ways that you're going to know whether something is right for you, but you have to know how your intuition speaks to you, and you also have to trust it. Okay. Sometimes, a lot of our well-intentioned friends and family members will say, I think you should do this, right? I think you should lean into this. And while that is wonderful, it's happened to me so many times in my life where people have said, I think you'd be great at this. I think that you should pay attention to this, jump into this course because it was right for me. And while they may be right because they know me well and they have the highest and best intentions for me, only I can really determine what is best for me. Okay. So pay attention to your inkling of what is right for you. Another thing I want to say is that I do believe in signs, right? When something shows up over and over again within a short period of time, pay attention because that means someone out there and up there is trying to guide you towards that right tool. Okay. So those are my suggestions for how to know if something is right for you. Okay. You've been you've been leaning on it for a long time, you've been ruminating on it for a long time, okay? It stirs something up within you, and you're getting the signs over and over again that this may be something for you, okay? Second thing is it's going to show up at the right time. This has been my story over and over again. I have been one of those individuals that since the beginning of time, I have been interested and like really called toward all kinds of spiritual tools and wisdom schools. And I've learned a lot of them, right? But they each showed up at the right time in my life. Okay. Feng Shui showed up very, very young. And for me, I would say in my late teens, early 20s. And back then, there weren't a lot of courses. There were these major certification courses, but to get to them, you had to take like 10 days off of work. You had to travel across the country. It was usually in the West where they were teaching these courses. And there was just never the right time to do it, right? So I studied on my own. I created my own tools. I checked out library books. And I learned it on my own before I could actually go and get certified in it, which was many, many years later. Okay, in my 40s, late 40s is when I became certified in feng shui. Astrology was also something that I was so magnetized to at a very early age. In college, I taught myself and I offered $5 love readings for my friends and for my sorority sisters. Okay. Again, I became self-taught before I actually learned astrology and became a professional astrologer. The funnest story that I want to share with you today is tarot. Okay. This is not my original deck, but my mother purchased my first tarot deck for me, and it was the original Rider-Waite Tarot, which is the deck that I recommend that we all study with and start with. And I had this deck. And she gave it to me probably when I was a teenager. And I had this beautiful magical box that I would put all of my spiritual tools in, whether it was incense or sage or candles or essential oils or magical powders, all of the things that I was attracted to. And the tarot deck stayed in that magical box for years and years and years. You know, grew up out of being a teenager, went away to college. Every summer I would come back home, open my magic box and go, what do I want to play with? And I would pick up this tarot deck and I would look at it and I would take it out and look at the images and there goes one card. And I would be overwhelmed. My spirit, my soul told me, I felt it. No, it's not the right time. I closed it, put it back, let it go. This would happen year after year after year. I finally, got married, bought a house, brought that magic box with me, stored it away in my closet. Every now and then I would open it. Same thing. It just wasn't the right tool for me at the right time. And then I went through a really difficult period in my life where I was a little bit lost. There were steps that I wanted to take that I wasn't confident enough in taking them. There were big decisions that I was very afraid of making because it could change the trajectory of my life, of my family, of my marriage. And that was a really, really difficult time in my life. I went back to my magic box during that time, pulled out my tarot deck. And that is when my spirit just leaned in fully. I got full body chills. I looked at the images and it was a hell yes. In here, and everywhere. A hell yes. That's when I knew it was the right time. And so I pulled out that tarot deck. I opened it. I started touching it, giving it my energy. I purchased books, but then I decided, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this in the right way. And I was always someone because I was in education, in higher education, got my master's degree. I believed in doing things the right way, getting certifications, being legit, right? And although today it's very different, and I truly believe that each one of us is gifted in our own way, and we can pick up a tarot deck and find our own way to read it and learn it on our own. You don't necessarily need a certification, right? I did. That was the way that I went. And so I found my course, I found my teacher. I was drawn to this program. It seemed very legitimate to me. And I went through this year-long program to learn tarot. I took my time. I dove in deeply. I practiced and practiced. I gave 100 free readings where I got critiqued as a reader, right? And it was an incredible process. But the tarot deck pulled me in, right? And that's my message to you. I remember a friend of mine who's in my mastermind program. I went through a period where I found feathers everywhere. Like I was just, the feathers were, all over. And I would come to our mastermind and go, look at what I found today. And she said to me, how are you finding these feathers? And in that moment, my gut response to her was, I didn't find the feathers, they found me. And that is the truth of signs and symbols, in the world, in nature, that show up for us. The tarot deck found me at that moment in my life. And it was also a place where I could really do a lot of the healing that I needed to do through the tarot deck, right? Because we are our own client when we learn tarot. When we learn feng shui, when we learn astrology, we become our own client first before we go out there and read for others, right? Whether you do it professionally or casually. So the tarot deck found me, right? And that's my message. Let the tool find you, right? Connect it with that full body yes, with your deep intuition, with the signs that you're receiving, and now you're on the right track to identifying the right spiritual tool for you. Okay, so now the third thing I want to share with you, my 4-step formula for embodying it and really claiming it. Okay, the first thing is that you really need to trust yourself. Okay, because when you learn a tool like this, I just pulled the High Priestess. Yeah, I can look at that card. I'm not, okay, there we go. High Priestess. Look at that card and, come up with my own meaning for it. And that happens a lot later. But in the beginning, I'm learning the traditional meanings of the card. Okay. So I went through that process of really understanding tarot in and of itself, each card and what it has meant since the beginning of time, what message it shares with us. And I'm trusting that process. Okay. So trust the process. Okay. And then once you've gone through that process and you're comfortable with the learning that you're doing, the wisdom you're taking in, then it's time to trust yourself, right? Go back to that intuition because what happens, especially with a tool like tarot, you really need to start then trusting yourself, right? How you're taking all of that wisdom and then bringing it into your spiritual body, okay? And having then your own innate wisdom share its message with you. Again, whatever tool it is that you're learning, it could be crystals, right? Crystals have specific meanings, but sometimes, and you may know that meaning, okay? But when you pick it up, maybe what it tells your body is something different than it tells someone else. Okay, so trust is really important, especially for those of you who eventually want to use a tool professionally. If you don't trust in that tool, in what you've learned about it, in the history of it, the ancient wisdom that it carries from generation to generation down to you, then you're going to fail before you've even started. Okay, so trust is really important. That's number one. The second part of my formula is really leaning into it and committing. If you pick up a tarot deck and you're like, I'm going to learn it, but you do it haphazardly. You're not picking it up every day. You're not giving it your energy. You're not studying it every day. You're not committed to it. Like if it were a client, right? And I'm speaking to, solopreneurs like myself. If I don't treat something in my life like a client, I'm not going to take it seriously, right? So you got to pretend like you're paying yourself. Be committed. Show up every day. I showed up every single day for the tarot course, for the feng shui course, for the astrology course. When I, eventually took all of these courses, I was committed. And these were long processes. These were not like a 2-week course. This was like, months and months or years. So if you're not committed, set it down. It ain't gonna work. I'm just being honest as a spiritual practitioner. You want to embody it. You want it to become a part of you and you become a part of it. That's when it becomes really, really special and a partner in supporting you in every single part of your life and leadership. Okay? So lean in and fully commit. The third step in my process is make it yours, right? After you've committed, you've learned it, you've studied it, and you're like, okay, I think I know it. Now make it yours, right? And this is where tarot for me has become a very intuitive tool. It's probably one of my best channels, right? Where I can channel my wisdom, what's showing up for me to share with my client. Okay. So I make it mine because, yes, I'll pick up a card. All right. And this is the moon. Okay. So I'll pick up the card, the moon, right? And I know what the traditional meaning of the moon is, right? It's to lean into your intuition, to pay attention to the energy around you and what you're receiving. It's also about not seeing the full story. There's something underneath the surface. It could also mean that you're not seeing everything that you should be seeing from other people. They may not be fully honest with you. There are many meanings that the moon can provide. But when in context of the other cards that I have pulled, in context of what I know about my client and what they need from me, I'm going to look at all of these cards. I'm also going to look at the image and what I feel when I look at that image, and I'm going to bring my own wisdom, my own downloads. Okay. What I'm seeing, what I'm feeling. Sometimes I will feel messages in my body that contribute to the message, right? I am bringing myself into this. I am making it mine. Okay. And that's what you also need to do with any spiritual tool that you use. Okay. So that's step number 3. Step number 4, start to share it, right? The hardest thing for me was when I became a tarot reader was doing these free readings, 100 of them. Okay. And then waiting nervously to get my feedback. And that is what transformed me as a tarot reader, was not worrying about the reading itself, whether I was going to give the right message, but just doing it and embodying it, right? And trusting it. All of these things that I've already shared with you, show up and share it. Don't keep it for yourself. Okay, start to use the tool with others. You're going to start to feel more confident. You're going to receive feedback that's going to be helpful. And the trust is just going to go deeper. The intuition is just going to go deeper, right? And making it your own is going to get easier and easier. But until you share it, you're not going to fully embody it. Okay. So those are the 4 steps in my process to embodying and claiming a spiritual tool. When I became a feng shui practitioner, I made my own tools, right? I learned the wisdom and then created tools that were going to help me be the practitioner, that were going to help me receive the information I needed from my client to map out, the information in the home when I was doing the physical feng shui work in a home. I created a flow roadmap, which is the astrology behind feng shui to help my clients, flow through life daily. So I made it my own. So that's the invitation to you, is to make it your own. Okay, so that is what I wanted to share with you today. I hope it's helpful. And now I'm going to pull some cards for you because you showed up. So, as usual, on these types of readings, I'm doing a pick a card reading. I'm going to pick 3 cards. Okay, so I want you to start tuning in, take a deep breath, just be grounded in your body, and think of whether you want card number 1, card number 2, or card number 3. Okay, and I'm just going to read intuitively. All right, so if you picked card number 1, you got the 9 of Wands. I will read that for you in a moment. Card number 2, you got the Page of Cups in reverse. And card number 3, you also got In reverse, the Knight of Swords. All right, so let's read these. All right, so for those of you who chose card number one, the Nine of Wands. Wow, a powerful card. What I'm feeling with this is that you may be at a time in your life where you've got a lot of intense energy and emotions just really stirring up within you. Okay. And it has to do with something that you are wanting to push away or resist. Okay. I have a feeling that this has to do with someone in your life who's just rocking the boat a little too much with you, maybe trying to tell you what you should be doing, trying to instigate, an argument. And just really, they're in your energy and you're like, get away. So that is what I'm feeling. And what my message to you is stand your power and push them away gently. Like, this is my space, right? Do not come in my space. I will invite you in when I'm ready. Thank you for the advice. I will sit with it, but that's it, right? So protect your energy is what I'm feeling mostly with this, and do not engage. You don't need to engage. You don't need to be reactive. Stand your power, and you can communicate with them and share what you want to share with them when the time is right. All right. So Page of Cups. So hard to get this. There we go. Page of Cups, a beautiful little girl with a cup. Came in reverse, right? So what I'm feeling is, oof, there is something that wants to be created, birthed inside of you. You are excited. You are feeling it. It's almost like overwhelming, which is maybe why you haven't stepped into creating it. You're almost there. Okay, so I want you to really get grounded with that idea, with that creation. Take it out of your head, out of your body, bring it into paper, journal about it, write out the first few steps, start to take a little bit of action. Okay, because this is a powerful creative process or idea that I do want you to give birth to, and I want to encourage you to do it, but you have to start bringing it out of you and playing with the energy so that you can feel solid enough to get going. Okay, but there's something that wants to be birthed in you. If you haven't felt it yet, it's coming. Card number three, Knight of Swords. All right. So this is I've got a goal. You're not going to stop me. I'm on a mission and I'm going for it. Get out of my way or I will cut you down. All right. So in reverse, I'm feeling like you need to say something. There is someone that you have a message for. It may be a sharp message, and you need to say what's on your mind. You need to clear the air. And again, you're preparing yourself for it. And my message to you is, um, again, just like the Page of Cups, don't be reactive, or I'm sorry, the Nine of Wands, don't be reactive, right? You're feeling the impulse to like just blurt it out, um, which could really damage the relationship or the situation. Okay. So slow down, take a deep breath, sit in meditation, close your eyes, and just really come into clarity. Okay. Soothe yourself, rest, come into clarity about what needs to be said, why you want to say it, and most importantly, how and when is the right time to say it. Okay. You do need to get this out of your body because if you don't, it could cause nervous system issues. It could cause, skin issues like irritations, rashes, um, nervous tension, and anxiety. So we want to get that out. Okay. But slow down enough to be clear about what you want to say and how you want to say it so that you can do it in the right way and move forward. Okay, so I hope that you enjoyed this solo podcast today. It's been an honor to provide this information for you, and I can't wait to see you again soon. Please throw in a comment. I would love that. I would love to connect with you. What did you find most useful today? Was it inspiring for you? Let me know how. And if you loved it, please give us a 5-star rating. That is how you can help me continue this podcast. Thanks so much. I'll chat with you soon. Bye bye.